What's your name?
Deuce Alameda.
So, Deuce, you come out here every week.
The majority of the time, yes. If I'm not busy or out of state, yeah.
Do you catch much flack from people driving past?
I do, but I always say God bless you. They say other words. I'd rather give them peace when they're giving me hate.
You wear a lot of bling.
Yes, I do.
How come?
I look good in it. And it separates me from everybody else. It gives a distinctive look about who I am as a person. So,
What does it mean with this style of jewelry?
Well, this is the replica of the Machiavelli chain, and these are championship rings of the Bulls.
The Chicago Bulls?
Yes.
Are you from L.A.?
I live in L.A. now, but I'm originally from Virginia, and I lived in New York.
Is there something about where you came from that gives you different views than those here in liberal Los Angeles?
Well, I was adopted and raised Catholic and conservative, and I've seen the ones around people that weren't raised Catholic and conservative, and I've seen their outlooks on life, and I've compared their lives to other people's lives, and the ones that practice their faith, not just say they're Catholic like Joe Biden, but when they actually practice their faith, you can see they're happy, and you can see they're peaceful, and you can see when they go through struggle, they go through it with an accepting smile. Even though it's difficult, they still go through it, and that's empowering, it's inspiring. So it's easy for me to choose the side that I'm on compared to the negative that everybody else is giving, because everybody in the world lives with this why me, what now scenario.
What about Joe Biden's Catholicism?
If he's Catholic, and then I am Muslim and white.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, why do you say that?
Because you can always label yourself as a Catholic, but if you're not a practicing Catholic, then you're just a hypocrite. And he's a hypocrite. Anyone that atones abortion at any level of, trimesters, then you are not a practicing Catholic. There's just no way. So it doesn't make sense to me. And a lot of other policies and a lot of other things that he does doesn't go with the fundamental teachings of the Catholic Church.
How ethical do you consider him?
I don't consider him very ethical at all. I don't think he has any ethics at all. I think he's a puppet.
A puppet for money?
Yeah, a puppet for propaganda, money, blood money. You know what I'm saying? Blood money. He's one of the worst people to ever be in any kind of office of the United States. He's definitely one of the racist ones in office ever. He should just get a swastika tattooed on the top of his forehead and call it a day.
Is he racist today?
Oh, he's more racist than he was ever. Because he's blatant about it. But he does it with this belief that that everyone else thinks like him. So it doesn't make any sense the way he talks. Like, I hate Black Lives Matter's organization, but the way he spoke to them, he talked down to them. And that's from a sign of superiority. And we all know, in his mind, he's a white superior. He's white, so he's more superior than people of color. That's just his mind. You can hear it in the way he talks, the way the things he says, his actions alone. He's more racist now than he ever was.
Well, what do you think is his real motive? Is it for equality for all peoples of color?
No. He likes to dance and say, I'm better than you guys. And see, look, I'm better than you. That's like I said, in his mind, he's superior. So there's no such thing as equality in his mind. He sees himself as the white savior of black people. And he's like, see, if it wasn't for me, then you'd be here. And that's his mind state. He's not doing it out of genuineness. He's doing it because he has an egotistical problem.
So, well, if President Trump is mounting a challenge to the vote, do you support that?
Of course. I have three mail-in ballots at my house. 3.
Mail-in?
Yeah, three mail-in ballots.
Yes.
Why? I didn't ask for 1. Why do I have 3?
In what names?
In all my names.
You have 3 different names, or three?
In my one name, all 3 ballots are addressed to me.
And if you had submitted all 3, do you think that the last 2 would have been thrown out?
Do I what?
You think the last 2 would have been thrown out if you mailed them in?
Trump, no. If it was for Trump, yes. If it was for Biden, they'd be like, it counts, baby. So
They would have counted. Voted in triple.
I would have voted for Biden for 3 times. That's what it would have counted as. So it's totally, Trump has a legitimate war, he has a legitimate argument, and he's going to win. And I'm going to dance on January 20th because he's going to be the president of the United States. And liberals are going to come out there and they're going to burn things down, loot stores in the name of justice in their eyes, but it's blind justice. You know?
You think the fear of that should intimidate any judges or state legislators?
That's why they are afraid of it. They just saw what happened when George Floyd was miraculously murdered. The reason why I say miraculously, I won't even get into that. But when George Floyd was murdered, look what happened to the country. All the major cities except LA were on fire. They didn't want that on their hands. They wouldn't touch that 10-foot pole.
Who didn't want that on their hands?
Any of the people except President Trump. He was the only one who was standing up against it. The Supreme Court, they disappointed me. They don't want us, because they know what's going to happen. It's a civil war. It's going to be a civil war if Trump wins the election. Mark my words.
Do you think there are Republicans who will come out and stand up?
If they're not rhinos, yes. If they're not Mitt Romney wannabes, then of course. If they're not Mitch McConnell wannabes, of course.
How well organized do you think the Republicans will be to stand against the left?
Well, I think if Republicans start adopting the MAGA mentality, they'd be unstoppable. But they haven't adopted it yet. They're pushing away from it because, unfortunately, politicians are about money. That's what they're all about. They say that they want you to believe so they can get money, and then they make up excuses of why they didn't pass any of the things they said they were going to do for you. That's why they hated Trump, because Trump went in office, said what he was going to do, and then he did what he was going to do, what he said he was going to do, and he did it. Promises made, promises kept. It's not a slogan, it's an act. It's a real lifestyle. And that's what they don't like about Trump. So,
in the past, Black Lives Matter have come around here. Do they want to engage in debate or conversation?
no, with me, they'll lose. People that are weak-minded are scared of intellectual power. That is why the Democrats keep black people on the pedestal that they keep them on. Because this is what I say this all the time. The Democrats aren't stupid. It's the Democratic voters that are stupid. Because the Democrats know exactly what they're doing. But the Democratic voter does not know what the Democrat person is doing. They manipulate them. They've been doing it, well, since the Jacksonian Democrat. You know?
So when Maxine Waters keeps winning, Karen Bass keeps winning, is it because the voters are continually voting for them? Or are they this Dominion system in LA?
Oh, there's definitely a Dominion system in LA, because when I voted for Trump and I pushed, because I voted in the mall and they had like a voting thing. When I voted and pushed sin for Trump, it went to Biden. And then I said,
on the screen?
On the screen. It went to Biden and Harris. And so before I could finish my thing, I pushed back. And then I pushed Trump and Pence again. And then it went and stayed as Trump and Pence. And then I pushed OK.
You think that was a fluke?
I asked them if that happened before. They said, we've had a couple of complaints, but not that many. I was like, well, Okay, well that's kind of creepy. So, like I said, I've been going to these rallies, and it looks dead right now because it's cold as Obama's Heart for America. So it's pretty cold out here, in California weather, that means. But back in the day, before the liberals got all butthurt that we were having these huge rallies, and because COVID, this whole entire park could be full of MAGA people. So it doesn't make sense to me now that, you know, Trump lost California. It doesn't make any sense to me. I worked on a campaign. I worked on a congressional campaign this year. I worked on the opponent running against Maxine Waters, and he actually kicked her butt in the polls. Joe Collins. I worked on that. I worked at that campaign.
How do you mean he kicked her butt?
He kicked her butt at the polls. She got a whole bunch of absentee ballots. He didn't get any absentee ballots in. So she won 140,000 to 63,000. 63,000 of those votes was the polls. 47,000 of her votes were the polls. The other 100,000 votes came from absentee ballots.
Which you think are ballots stuffed?
Yeah. I totally.
They went to nursing homes and took people's names?
Yeah. They went to Disneyland, anywhere. Donald Duck, and I can do his voice. But they're going to say he did, so it is what it is.
Well, the absentee balloting seems like small potatoes now compared to the software rigging.
See, exactly. And that's the scary part, because they said Trump got 74 or 75 million votes. Okay, and Biden got 80 to 81 million votes. Here's a history lesson, America. Barack Obama won historically in 2008 with 69 million votes in 873 counties. Joe Biden won miraculously 81 million votes in 477 counties. That's damn near half than what Obama's counties. And you're trying to tell me he got 12 million more votes for them? And I'm pretty good at math, and I'm sorry, but that math does not match. So there's no way, and on God's great green earth, and this is God's great green earth, people, not the energies, not the vibes, it's God. So wake up, America. But back to what I'm saying. On God's great green earth, there's no way that Biden won this election. Now, with the Dominion software, or domain, whatever you want to call it, I call it demon software. My opinion is, if votes were being changed from Trump to Biden, that meant Trump probably got 81 million votes, and Biden got about maybe 64 million votes. That's just my opinion. And I'm pretty smart, so.